everybody, and Happy New Year from the Polk Duo. I'm Miranda Polk. This is Casey Polk, and we want to thank you, New Zion Missionary Baptist Church and Pastor Barrington, for asking us again to be a part of another 5 on 5. So get ready for 5 minutes of worship and then 5 minutes of word. We hope y'all enjoy. I've searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. Man's empty praise and treasures that fade are never enough. Then you came along and put me back together. Now every desire is now satisfied right here in your love. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing is better than you. And I'm not afraid to show you my weakness, my failures and flaws. Lord, you've seen them all, yet you still call us friend. 'Cause the God of the mountain is the God of the valley. And there's not a place your mercy and grace won't find me again. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing is better than you. We're gonna sing that one more time. There's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing is better than you. This I know is true. I think you're gonna like this part. Here we go. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn seas into highways. You turn bones into armies. You're the only one who can. I'm gonna sing that again. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. Lord, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing is better than you. One more time. There's nothing better than him. There's nothing better than him, y'all. There's nothing is better than Jesus. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to today's 5 on 5, 5 minutes of worship, 5 minutes of word. Thank you for joining in for our Wednesday devotion. So listen, this week on social media, I read where someone posted, the attitude we have while we're in the wilderness determines how long we're going to stay there. So basically, if you complain, then expect to remain. How often do we complain about everything? How much time do we spend throughout our day complaining? I read in an article this week that it says the average adult spends 8 minutes and 45 seconds every day complaining, which translates to about 1,300 gripes per year. It's interesting because as humans, we tend to give negative thoughts more attention than we do positive ones. But now what we know is that whatever we focus on tends to be what our reality becomes. So complaining is something that we do way too much. And I think the reason why we enjoy or we like complaining or we often do it is because when we complain, it allows us to play the victim. But God doesn't want us to be the victim because He's called us to be the victor. But as long as we can give our days and our times to complaining, talk about what's not working, who's getting on our nerves, whatever's driving us crazy, then we'll always put ourselves in a position to where we are stuck. And we're stuck playing the victim. In Numbers chapter 21, verse 5, which takes us to the point of God's people, Israel, the nation of Israel, when they were leaving Egypt and heading to the promised land, there was a time period to where they were stuck right in the wilderness. And in Numbers 21, verse 5, it says, "And the people spake against God and against Moses. Wherefore have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loatheth this light bread." They were just rescued out of the hands of the Egyptians. And God set them up sweet on their way to the promised land, to where they did not have to work hard. They did not have to do so many different things in order to get all of their daily provisions and everything that they needed. But they started to complain. And they complained because some of the things that they were used to were not what they were currently experiencing. And also, they were nervous because they could not see where they were going. See, sometimes when we don't know where we're heading or where we're going, that leads us to a point of venting and complaining. When things seem to be uneasy or an imbalance for us, or we're not secure, we're feeling insecure in certain moments, then that'll cause us to complain and act as if everything is out of control. I read in an article one time where it talked about complaining and what we tend to get out of it. And it comes from the acronym GRIPE. Well, the first thing, the G that we get out of complaining, is that it gets us attention. A lot of times we're complaining, all we really want is attention. We want somebody to hear us. We want somebody to see us. So the more that we complain, kind of like that squeaky wheel, then that forces people to pay attention to us. The other thing that we get out of complaining with the acronym GRIPE for the R is that it removes responsibility. Because sometimes if we can complain about somebody else, then that will draw some attention to them and it removes the responsibility and the accountability away from us. The other thing is that it inspires envy. So sometimes if you complain, say if you live in a 10,000 square foot house and you complain and say, "Oh, I hate cleaning this house. It's always burdensome. It's always a lot." Well, when we complain in that regard, sometimes what we're doing is inspiring envy to where other people will look at us envious. The other thing is that the P for gripe, when we complain, is that we're looking for power. Because if we can complain, then I read somewhere where it says, when we enrage, it causes other people to engage. So when we flex our muscle and we complain about how things aren't, then it'll give us a sense of empowerment. And the last thing is that it will excuse poor performance, the E in gripe, excuse poor performance. So that when I complain about something or someone else, then it will deflect and take that negative attention of my performance away from me. How do we fix complaining? Well, the first thing that we need to do is that we need to change our attitude. 1 Thessalonians 5:8, it says, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God concerning you. So change your attitude and give thanks for everything and for everything. The other thing is that you need to change your mind. In Romans 12:2, it says, and be not conformed to the patterns of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is good and acceptable and the perfect will of God. And lastly, change your perspective. Paul says in Philippians 4:8, finally, my brother, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of a good report. If there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on such things. And our perspective is the angle in which we see something, and that is driven by our minds or our mentality. Change your attitude, change your mind, change your perspective, and stop complaining. You are not a victim, so don't allow yourself to be one, but you're a victor. It's time to win. God bless.